Pac-12, leading the nation with over 500 NCAA championships.
The fireworks have already begun. And preseason favorite UCLA is picking up right where they left off in last year's memorable title run, painting pictures of perfection. Gymnastics is an athletic art form, and now the stage is set for a new season of compelling performance. A star in front of adoring fans to tempt greatness. You can win a championship. The stories are about to be written, and for one coach of the century, one last act, one more chance to lead and inspire.
It's my final bell.
It's Masterpiece Gymnastics Theater, and the curtain is rising right now on the Pac-12 Network. It has been 9 months since the epic comeback at the NCAA Finals. Some of the faces have changed around here, but the goal is still the same, to win a national title. At UCLA, it's not just a mantra, it is a mission statement. Champions made here. It's a top 20 matinee matchup. Number 2, UCLA, and number 19, Arizona State, live on the Pac-12 Network. It might be the beginning of a season, but it is the end of an era. After 37 years, 29 as the head coach, Valerie Condos-Field will step away. She'll step away from the program she built, steps away from the athlete she nurtured, and steps away from the school she loves so deeply. It is our last dance with Miss Val. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Watson alongside the former Bruin, the former Olympian, Sam Pesek, and welcome to Westwood. Sammy, you competed here at UCLA for 4 years under Miss Val. What is it that makes her so special?
Well, she's really more of a life coach, and with a sport that's so intense at a young age, that's the most appreciated aspect of her coaching style. She prioritizes the needs of a gymnast before the need to win, but with already 7 national championships, it seems that she's able to do both.
UCLA just won it last year. We'll be talking about it all season long. Let's talk about the Bruins this year. Well, they're the defending national champions. They're number 2. They have beaten, get this, 32 consecutive opponents, and they feature the teeny tiny Texan. Caitlyn Ohashi might be only 4 feet 10 inches tall, but she is big enough to break the internet.
She went viral. She turned the heads of celebrities, politicians, and professional athletes, but her job is not done. And when I spoke to her before the meet started, she said she hopes that all those people that saw her routine, it brought joy to them, but she knows that she doesn't want to be a distraction, and it doesn't take away from the main goal of the team, which is to win another national championship.
So while UCLA is well established and arrived a long time ago, Arizona State is quickly rising, maybe the fastest rising young program in the country. They went from number 41 to number 23 in the nation. So you want to keep an eye on the Gym Devils. How did they build that pyramid of success? They went to Cairo. Who else?
Yeah, Cairo Leonard Baker is the superstar of this up-and-coming ASU team. She is so consistently dynamic, which is what makes her so special. She has fun while she does it, and head coach Jay Santos says that she is self-motivated and that she is very confident, not only in competition, but in practice. And her biggest asset is that she pushes the team to be better.
1 million following on the internet, thousands of fans in the arena, dozens of talented gymnasts on the floor, 3 Olympians, 2 great teams, and 1 legendary couch. UCLA and Arizona State, next on the Pac-12 Network.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles, home of the UCLA Bruins and the USC Trojans. Available on Time Warner, Cox, and Bright House.
Let's have one more.
2?
Make that 2 more plans.
Sweetie?
Let us help with your plan.
We can do that. Sounds like a plan.
Start a plan that flexes with yours. New York Life.
Help protect what's most important with our family of safety technologies.
The 2019 Nissan Rogue comes with automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection standard. Part of Nissan's Safety Shield 360. Protection you won't get from CR-V, Equinox, or CX-5. Nissan Rogue. The safety tech you want and more.
Get a low $239 per month lease on Rogue. Or get 0% financing for up to 60 months on 14 models.
Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
I pledge
to treat everyone with respect
and dignity.
I will not tolerate discrimination
or harassment of any kind.
I will speak up, stand up whenever I know discrimination is happening, and I will stand up,
Get up,
rise up for victims.
take the pledge.
Take the pledge at risetowin.org.
Spending your days playing while still getting a check plan. Let us help with your plan.
Yep, every month.
Great. Sounds like a plan.
Start a plan that flexes with yours. New York Life.
Friday, the Bruins head to the desert as Arizona State welcomes UCLA for a Pac-12 Women's Hoops Showdown. Catch the matchup live at 10 on Pac-12 Network.
This Pac-12 Women's Gymnastics meet is brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Last year at the NCAA Finals in St. Louis, UCLA rallied in the final rotation on the toughest event. Peng Peng Lee capped off her illustrious 6-year career with a perfect score on the beam to beat Oklahoma. UCLA as a team went 49-7-5. That is an all-time record on the balance beam. National title number 7 for the UCLA Bruins and head coach Valerie Kondo's field. Well, you can't take a banner with you. What can you carry around just to prove to people years from now, I was there for the title? You just flash them with some bling. You know, those rings are always so tasteful. Sam, have you ever seen an NBA championship ring? It's like a manhole cover.
Huge. You know they wear that casually for brunch on the weekends, right?
Casually. All right, so UCLA comes in number 2 in the country. They're 4-0. They are ranked in the top 5 on all 4 events. They will start in the Olympic order as the home team on the vault. And technically, this is UCLA's weakest event as number 5. Paulina Tratz will start things off. But she was second team All Pac-12 last year on the floor. She'll be in action in 2 events today, starting here with the vault, and she is coming off a season high 9.85 at the Collegiate Championship in Anaheim last week.
You're going to see a Yurchenko full hop on the landing. She does a good job getting that block off the table and having good, clean shapes in the middle of her twist.
For Arizona State, number 19, they are 3-1 to start the season. They begin on the uneven bars where they're ranked number 20. All of the numbers for Arizona State have been trending up. Morgan Hart, the junior from Las Vegas, this will be her only event. Last year, 4 scores of 9.8 or better. Been a little bit under that so far this year.
Nice blind change Jaeger, overshoot combination right off the top of the bar. I saw her warm this up, and she's really consistent and has been doing a good job working on getting completely vertical on those handstands. Finishing clean double lay, slight hop, but that's how you want to start off the meet if you are ASU coming into this wild UCLA arena.
Arizona State has beaten a couple of ranked teams already. Minnesota, University of Illinois, Champaign, both teams ranked in the top 25. You saw in the background Jay Santos, the head coach, and what a job he and Jessica Santos and Stephen Buckner have done in Tempe. We go back to the vault for UCLA. The opening score for Trotz was a 9.8. And here's Kendall Poston. Sophomore from down in Orange County, Foothill Ranch, a little smile on her face, maybe some nerves underneath. She has performed exhibition before, but this will be her first collegiate scored vault in front of 10,000 people.
She does a different vault, a front pike half. Lands a little bit with her chest low, but she's just getting those repetitions, and you see how excited she is before Meet the Bruins. It was her first time doing it on the hard surface. She told me how nervous she was, but now she has the confidence to make it to her feet every time. Vault coach Randy Lane told me the focus with these girls is to not think about the landings early on and just to make it to their feet to build their confidence.
9.875 opener for Morgan Hart. Excellent score. Hands the baton to Justine Callis. One of 6 seniors on this roster. Remember, it was just a couple of years ago they had 6 freshmen. Now they've all grown up. For Callis, she'll be on 2 events, but this is her first bars of the year.
Working hard to get all the way to handstand. Getting pressure on that bar. You see a little bit of a form deduction throughout this routine. These are the details that Jay and Jess Santos were talking about cleaning up. As you can see from this ASU team, with just 2 routines, they have the consistency and they can put up a hit routine, but they need to work on the details. You see right here, that amplitude off the bar, getting a little bit more height in the flip and squeezing the ankles right when you catch on that low bar.
Jay Santos, 2018 Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Remember, these guys came in from Michigan a couple of years ago, the state of Michigan. They were at Eastern Michigan University where they had built a really good program. And they had that long term. They said 3, 4, 5 years, we hope to be good. 3 years in, they're top 20 in the country. 9.8 for Kendall Poston, so a couple of 9.8s to start the rotation for the Bruins. And another new face, Sakai Wright, freshman from Paramount, which is here in Los Angeles. She has been out with an ankle. This will be her Bruin debut. But at level 10, she was a 3-time national champion on vault.
Yurchenko 1.5, starting from a 10.0. She stuck it in warm-up, and that is her debut competing for UCLA. I was actually in the gym the day she sprained her ankle and she had a small fracture, so she is so happy to be back out on the competition floor. She does a good job spotting the landing. Look how much height she gets off that table. I'd love to see her squeeze her knees a little bit more in the twist, but I'd say for your first competition routine for a UCLA Bruin, it's not too shabby.
And that is just how Miss Val coaches. You know, they've always talked about her as that mother figure, as a friend, as somebody who's always there to support you. And it's not so much about the scores with Miss Val. It's who you were when you got here and who you are when you leave. 9.775 for Callis. Caitlyn Safranski will be up on 3 events, begins with bars.
A little close on that release move, working on getting those open hips on every single handstand, and again, squeezing those feet together. She has improved so much just from last year. Again, a little pop on the landing. They need to work on honing in, absorbing that floor to get rid of all of those little deductions at the end of the bar routine.
Caitlyn Safranski at 9.85 on that event at Pac-12s last year, has been under 9.8 in the first 2 meets here in 2019. Bruins continue to roll, numbers going in the right direction, couple 9.8s, and then Sakai Wright with that 10.0 start value goes 9.875. And here comes Fish, Felicia Hano.
She's going to be doing a Yurchenko 1.5, the same vault Sakai just competed.
She is ranked number 9 in the country, coming off a 9.9 on this event.
She has good clean form. You see a little stumble on the landing. She has her ankle taped. She sprained it the first week of competition on the last pass on her floor routine, so she'll just be doing this vault here today. It looks as though it's still bothering her just a little bit because she has the height. You see good block off the table. She waits to twist, just a little shy on that landing.
Yeah, she injured her ankle on that 9.9 against Nebraska in the opening meet, did not take part in the Collegiate Challenge last week in Anaheim. Caitlyn Safranski, 9.775. Here comes Morgan Wilson, who will be up on 3 different events today. Season high 9.825 on this event. That happened against Texas Women's University. They were on the road down in Texas last week, were the Gym Devils. Their only loss to number 20 Missouri.
All the way up to vertical. Blind change, Jaeger, combination. You see her ankles glued together when she caught the low bar, which is different from her teammates. That's what we want to see. Nice rhythm going into this dismount. and he's spotting the floor.
And you can see how much deeper and just how much more polished Arizona State is. You talked about those little things, just tweaking it, making each performance, each maneuver just a little bit better. And Arizona State is taking big strides every year. Hano 9.75. UCLA closing with 5 straight 10-0 start values, including Kyla Ross, the first gymnast ever to win Olympic, World, and NCAA championships. She is an all-arounder again this year, and she's ranked in the top 15 on all 4 of her events, including here on the vault, where she's number 6 in the country.
Another Yurchenko, 1.5. She stuck it the last time she was in this arena. Oh.
Just short, almost sat down.
Yeah, sometimes when you're competing, you're focused so much on that stick and that stuck landing that you kind of forget about everything else. She has a good pre-flight. She gets enough height off the table. She just opens out and leans back a little bit too much and couldn't quite save herself. She opens up there, and just her booty was behind her feet too much. It's one of those mistakes, Jim, that you think about right after you do it. Oh, shoot, I should have leaned forward a little bit more.
Didn't miss it by much, but it glares on the landing. 9.825 for Morgan Wilson. Here's one of the marquee performers for the Gym Devils of Arizona State. Ann Kuhn was a French Olympian back in 2012. She was great on this event last year. 9 times she went 9.8 or better.
She has beautiful extension and lines throughout this bar routine.
Coming off a 9.825 at Texas Women's last week.
Her handstands were a little bit sharper in the warm-up. Double layout and good landing. Jay and Jess told us earlier that they're really focusing on those details, all the way from the handstand to the stuck landing.
Jay and Jessica Santos, one of 3 husband and wife coaching teams in the Pac-12. And Jessica Santos, handles beam, and we talked to her about beam during the week and how much she tweaks that lineup and worries about it. Beam is so often the difference in these meets. Kyla Ross just a 9.7. And here's Nia Dennis.
I'm not actually sure which vault she's going to do. Randy Lane told me if they had some stumbles in the lineup, she's going to be doing a Yurchenko full. Otherwise, we will see the 1.5.
They want to drop that 9.7 to Ross, and they will be able to. Nia Dennis clutch in the anchor spot.
That was nearly a perfect Yurchenko full. From this angle on the TV, it did look perfect. Here's another look. Good block off the table. Opens at the right time and is very easily able to find that landing to a beautifully stuck position.
She'll be in the all-around today. That's her favorite event, the vault, but she had struggled the first 2 weeks. I didn't want to jinx her, but her scores were way down first 2 weeks. That one is going to score high. Kuhn goes 9.8, and here is last year's freshman of the year in the conference, Cairo, Leonard, Baker. I'd say she's a star on the rise, but she's already arrived.
Yeah, it didn't take much. Last year was just her freshman year. Usually you need a little bit of a learning curve, but Jay and Jess Santos said that she is so much more comfortable. They didn't even realize she struggled last year. But it is tough to compete every single weekend to get physically and mentally prepared. Beautiful bar set so far, just the dismount. No problem finding the landings, and that's what she does so well. She absorbs the floor, and she makes it look so easy. Not just on bars, but on every event, Jim.
Cairo's had, now 3 great bars routines this year, a 9.85 and 9.9, and we'll wait for the score on that one. Meantime, Nia Dennis just tied a career high with a 9.95 on her vault. We'll come back and total up the scores from the first rotation in Westwood live on the Pac-12 Network.
Brought to you by 3-Day Blinds. You'll love the...
Today, of course, we celebrate the great Martin Luther King Jr., minister, activist, leader of the American Civil Rights Movement, Atlanta, Memphis, Selma, Washington, D.C., and even Westwood. This picture taken April 27, 1965, when Dr. King spoke here in Westwood. 5,000 students at the foot of the Jan steps on campus to hear about his vision of the future. And of course, at UCLA, it resonates because of athletes like Jackie Robinson and Arthur Ashe and Lou Alcindor and all the struggles they went through. There is Chris Waller, the associate head coach, and many think will be the new head coach here in Westwood, but that's still a year away. UCLA, a great rotation once again to open the meet. UCLA came into this meet having hit 49 in 67 straight rotations, which is remarkable, and they just did it again. So now you can make it 68 straight rotations. UCLA with a 49.175. They drop Ross's 9.7. Nia Dennis 9.95, but that 10 start value, that's not accurate, right? She changed her vault.
Yeah, it's not accurate. She was planning on doing a Yurchenko 1.5, but vault coach Randy Lane told me that they might switch it up depending on how the vaults looked in lineup.
Sakai Wright made her debut for UCLA, 9.875. It's good to get that first one behind you.
She did a good job. Yurchenko 1.5 as a freshman. Again, I like to see her clean up the form a little bit, but she gets so much height off that table, opens up at the perfect time, which is how you saw that clean landing.
For Arizona State, they'd only hit 49 once this year. Now they've done it twice. A nice opening, 49.250. Cairo Leonard Baker, a career high 9.975.
You see her just perfect rhythm from bar to bar, hitting those handstands. And again, on this dismount, spotting the landing and finds that stick easily.
This was ASU's best event last year. They went 11-5-1 on the bars. Again, all 4 of their events are ranked in the top 35. And if you dropped vault, they would be in the top 25 on the other 3 events. That's the improvement we've seen at Arizona State. We didn't used to see those kind of numbers with the Gym Devils. They've hit 196. Well, last year they hit it 7 times. They've hit it twice this year. And what they're trying to hit next is 197. These big steps, hitting 196 consistently and then go to 197. And when we talked to Jay Santos earlier this week about recruiting, I said, so when you got there 3 years ago, you were talking about people building something at Arizona State. Now when you recruit, is it different? He said, yep, now we have something concrete to show them. The Gym Devils are on the map at number 19. Well, they're in this meet, aren't they? In fact, they lead number 2 and defending champion UCLA after 1 rotation.
Help protect.
Kyla Ross is already having a great season and set career highs in the all-around in her first 2 meets. Last week down in Anaheim, her 6th career 10, her 4th perfect 10 on the uneven bars. This has been one of her favorite events and one of her best events since she first got to Westwood. We talked to Kyla about her mindset before that performance.
And I was pretty upset. So then the next week I was like, okay, I'm really training hard, making sure I focus on all the details. So I was really excited that the hard work that week paid off and I was able to hit a 10.
Yeah, I would say 10 is solid. Kyla Ross is ranked number 2 in the country on this event.
Second weekend to score a 10, and she actually scored 110 on vault week 1. So it's the big hot topic of, is she moving down the event? Will we see a 10 from her on beam today? Because that seems to be the transition.
For Ross, she's going to have to wait around a bit. She'll be the anchor for UCLA. Frazier, Dennis, Anna Glenn for the first time, Nora Flatley we're going to see, and Maddie Kochen. So they close with back-to-back Olympians. And we've talked about this before, that Ross and Kochen are the first Olympic gold medalists ever to compete in NCAA gymnastics. You know, people always say, okay, so Olympians peak, they're elite gymnasts, they're world known, and then they kind of, on the downhill, hit college gymnastics. But talking to Olympians like yourself, when you come to college, it's a whole different mindset because now it's about the team. It's no longer individual.
Yeah, it is. It's more about the team, which makes it fun. But in terms of the actual gymnastics, it's a different focus too. The handstands, the landing, there's not as much difficulty. So it's a completely different ball game. And I think I know which one Caitlyn Ohashi prefers.
Can I ask you a question? What came first, Ohashi or the egg? It's the only thing she didn't get more hits on the internet. We'll see Caitlyn Ohashi in the floor to close the meet in a little bit. Don't run off. Here's the vault lineup, and look at the experience. 3 seniors, 2 juniors, and then Cairo Leonard Baker, not really a sophomore because of all of her elite experience. For Arizona State, this would be their weakest event, ranked 33rd in the country. Season high was a 48.775. Ann Kuhn, the leadoff.
Yurchenko layout full, and great landing right there. I think it was a stuck. I'd love to see that one more time. good shapes in the air, open hip position, and again, focusing on those details, and it looks like it's paying off.
Arizona State with that impressive 49.250 leading UCLA after the first rotation. Margzetta Frazier, lead off for the Bruins. Frazier, a former U.S. national team member, is ranked number 11 on the bars at a 9.925 to finish second last week at the Collegiate Challenge down in Anaheim.
You're going to see lots of transitional release elements for her bonus. Right here, Shaposh, Pack Salto combination. She's also one of those gymnasts that milks those handstands positions. She wants the judges to know she is right on top of the bar. Solid AA dismount. Slight movement on her feet, but what a way to start the bar rotation.
So Margzetta has been great on the bars now through 3 rotations this year. 9.875 against Nebraska, 9.925 last week, and here, this should be a good score as well.
Double layout, spots that landing, dials it in.
We'll see Margzetta as well in the final rotation on floor. Edcombe, 9.775. Tracy Rushton.
This is the first meet for her this year, and Jess Santos said she might be doing a Yurchenko layout full. It'll be her first time ever competing it, and there she goes.
It's going to be her only event of the day, too.
She usually does a Yurchenko tuck full, but is really focusing on their difficult value and trying to up the game, especially right here. I'd love to see her get more height off that table, more block on the entry. But for your first time, you really just want to put it on your feet.
Vaulted in 6 meets last year, including the Pac-12 championships. But it was an abbreviated year. Nice number for Frazier, 9.925. UCLA is again a top 5 team on the bars.
Nia is dynamic on all of her events, especially on bars. She has a pretty quick routine. Working on those handstands. Oh! It's never a mistake you want to make, but if you had to make a mistake, that's a good one. You can tell she is working on getting those details, trying to get all the way to the top, but her heels, look, her heels were just way too over the bar. She was trying to save it and couldn't quite pull it back on.
It was ridiculous how far her heels got over, and she was still fighting it with that core strength, trying to bring them back.
Yeah, you always want to save that, but she just got a little bit too much momentum on her cast.
Has to regroup to finish the routine.
She just had the dismount left, double layout.
Well, and it's too bad because she started out with a 9.95 on vault and started out so well on this routine. She was that close.
She wants to be considered an all-around competitor, so I know she's going to be bummed after this bar routine.
Gracie Rushton, just a 9.575. That'll be a mark that Arizona State will be anxious to leave behind. Just in. First time we've seen her. She'll be on both vault and floor tonight. All 11 of her vaults last year between 9.7 and 9.825.
Yurchenko layout full. Good landing, twisting early on the table. Look how fast she starts the twist. Right off the table, she starts moving with her head. I'd love to see her pop straight off the table in a straight body position before she starts flipping. It's gonna hopefully help her get her chest up on the landing.
Anna Glenn will be on 2 events for UCLA, beginning here on bars and also in the 3rd rotation on beam. She was UCLA's top scorer on the vault at NCAA's last year, and now making a bit of a transition. She had a 9.8 on this event against Nebraska in the season opener.
What stands out about her is her form. Check out her body position all the way to her toe point. It is stunning. What she still needs to work on is that competition experience. being able to hit a good bar routine when the green flag goes up. Pressure's on a little bit right now because they don't want to count or fall. She's able to handle it.
So that's her third bars routine of the season. We'll see her later on the beam for the first time in 2019.
She's going to be doing a double tuck dismount, giant full into a double tuck. Slightly easier dismount than the double layout, but gets her bonus because of that giant full into the dismount.
9-8 for Jess Ginn. That's the top score so far for the Gym Devils. And once again, here comes Caitlyn Safranski. She had a 9.775 on bars earlier. Always targeting a 9-8 for her here on vault.
Another Yurchenko full for this lineup. And that's the strategy that Jay and Jess Santos told us they were going to put up. Good, clean fulls to get their confidence, to get their consistency, and hopefully we'll see some 10-0 vaults later in the season. She gets a good block off the table, layout position before the twist. Good technique.
Anna Glenn, a good score for the Bruins, 9.85. And again, they want to leave Dennis's mistake. So they need Flatley, Kochen, and Ross to close strong. Nora Flatley, the freshman from West Des Moines in Iowa. Bars and beam today. Coming off a 9.9 last week where she finished third at the Collegiate Challenge. She also had a 9.825 against Nebraska a couple weeks ago.
Her routine has a wow factor because of that combination. Eagle grip into a Jaeger. It is not a typical cookie cutter bar routine you see in college, bringing that elite level difficulty. Again, working those handstands, finishing with a double layout. It was a solid routine. That is going to be a massive score. Bars coach Chris Waller said she's going to be great on bars once she figures out how to get those handstands positioned. This is that eagle grip, that wow factor I was talking about. Look how high above the bar she gets. Perfect position to catch the bar right into her toe to handstand. And that dismount, her legs are glued together, perfect body position, spots the ground, nails it.
Nora Flatley, the 2018 Iowa State uneven bars champion at the club level. 9.75 for Katelyn Safranski. Once again, Cairo Leonard Baker coming off that 9.975 career high on the uneven bars.
Lots of power. And again, it looked like a similar mistake that Kyla Ross made earlier. She looked like she was trying to find the landing almost too much. You see her chest is going to stay down instead of continuing to rise. Good position off the table, opens up, and when she goes to find the landing, she shook her head. She knew that mistake right when she landed.
Boy, that event has been kind of a bugaboo for her this year. 9.725 at Texas Women's, 9.675 in the opener. Her score should be much better than that on that event. Seems like maybe she's thinking about it a little bit too much. You just gotta let the ball fly sometimes.
Sometimes that happens, Jim. You just gotta let your body handle it and milk into that floor.
How about a 9.975 for Nora Flatley? So somebody threw her a 10. I guess Chris Waller knows gymnastics. He said she can be pretty good on bars.
Yeah, she's all right.
And almost taking away some of the shine from the former world champion on this event, the Olympic silver medalist, Maddie Kochen.
You know, she's been battling injuries, and she had a stress fracture in her femur in August and had some issues with her cartilage, but this is the event that no matter what, she can shine on.
9.825 against Nebraska opening week, 9.85 at the Collegiate Challenge a week ago. And of course, a house favorite.
Talk about someone that can compete under pressure. They don't want to have to count a fall. She's doing a good job focusing on those details. Great handstand position on that pirouette. Milking those handstands. Tucked full in to a stick.
Really?
This might be close, Jim. I I didn't see any deductions in that routine.
All right, so you were on the floor in Rio. She was brought to Rio for the U.S. Olympic team for bars. That was her moment. She came through. You just mentioned she's always clutch under pressure, but she's having so much more fun here. It's just a different kind of performance.
Sometimes it's hard when you're used to competing with intensity and so much focus. Sometimes it's hard to switch gears. I know I struggled with that a little bit, so it's good to see her finding herself and competing and being able to do so well while she's having fun.
That's because you were always looking for blood, but that's what made you great. 9.75 for Cairo, Leonard Baker. Morgan Wilson now for Arizona State.
Kuchenko layup full. Again, we are seeing good landings from this ASU vault team, but I would like to see more pop off the table.
In the meantime, you heard the crowd react on the other side of the arena. Maddie Kochen with a 10.
Everyone was worried how UCLA was going to top their performance last season, and it just seems like it's easy for them this year, that they keep growing, they keep improving week to week, especially with the amount of 10s they've been receiving this early in the season.
Kocian has had a 10 before. She had one at Stanford on this event back in 2017. And for UCLA, that is all-time number 129 perfect 10s, number 30 on that event. Kyla Ross has had 4 perfect 10s on the bars, including last week. And I'll tell you what, we've seen this before. Kocian puts up a big number, and Ross comes right back.
The key for Kyla, she knows she can get a 10. She did it last week, like you mentioned, is just to stay focused in the moment. Keep that rhythm. She has good distance away from the bar when she catches her release moves. Little shy on that handstand. Good clean double layout, and another stick for the Bruins. The thing about Kyla Ross is she has no built-in deductions for her routine. No form errors, no technical errors. So as long as she gets those handstands and sticks the landing, you know, it should be its 10.
Student section is calling for the 10, but you mentioned she wasn't vertical on the handstand. Can't be a 10 if it's not perfect.
Well, as you know, Jim, it is a subjective sport, and they might have seen something different. Technically, she has a perfect bar routine.
So smiles all around, and that's UCLA's theme with Valerie Condos Field. She wants the joy. She wants you to party with your classmates. She says, come in here and have a good time. Gymnastics should be fun. Well, they just put up a 10 for Kocian. Kyla Ross, as she almost always does, when Maddie sets the bar, Ross goes after it. 9.95. It's not a 10, but it's close. Back at Pauley Pavilion, Jim Watson and the Olympian Sam Pesek, and a big crowd, upwards of 10,000. Maybe a lot of them came to see Caitlyn Ohashi on the floor. Was it 100 million hits?
Yeah, and I think that number keeps growing, so I actually feel bad saying it's only 100 million now.
Well, and the thing that was surprising to me is people, not that they got so excited about it, but they failed to recognize she did the same thing last year and got 100 million hits.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so I actually spoke to her last week, and she said she wants a new routine every single week to see if it can go viral every week.
Nobody has more fun than Caitlyn Ohashi on the floor. That's coming up in our 4th rotation. Meantime, look at this. As we went to break, Sam, you live in gyms. You pointed up at the scoreboard and your eyes went wide because UCLA puts up a 49-7.
Yeah, they went lights out on bars. This is postseason quality. It started by Nora Flatley, and it just continued from there. She has beautiful lines, this combination off the top, eagle into a Jaeger. Not only is that extremely difficult, but she does it flawlessly. And of course, this double layout dismount opens her hips, spots the landing, nails it for a stick.
You almost forget that Nia Dennis had problems at the beginning of that rotation, and we said that the last 3 were going to have to close strong. Well, Glenn went 9.85, Flatley went 9.975, and then Kocian, perfect.
Yeah, it was a 10. She has so many more skills than she can even do here, but when you have just one event, it's important to do your best. I know she's been looking for this 10 since the season started. You could tell she knew it when she landed. It was perfect.
how often is an Olympian going to put up a 9.95 as Kyla Ross did and not even going to make our highlight package?
And I know Kyla well enough to know she's mad she did not get a 10. She knows exactly which handstand was short, and I can guarantee she's not going to do that next weekend.
So for UCLA, the 49.7 now moves them out in front with a 98.875. Arizona State, not to be overlooked, put up a season high on vault for the Gym Devils, 48.850, so they're over 98 already. So Arizona State is well on its way to a high 196. If Arizona State were to hit a high 196 or 197, that would be huge. That would be the headline down in Tempe. You expect it from UCLA, but 48.850 and 49.250 for Arizona State, both season bests. It's hard to avoid that 49.7 though, isn't it? We'll talk more about the Gym Devils, Jay Santos, Jessica Santos, and Stephen Buckner when we come back to Westwood. They're talking about women's gymnastics in Tempe, and that hasn't happened in a while. Jay Santos has done a great job. He's begun rebuilding this program, and maybe they're ahead of schedule.
Things were not going in a great direction, and when we were able to come in here and turn that around. And this is these are the kids that did it. They were able to reinvent themselves in this program in a positive way. Change is not easy. It's hard work. It's hard days. It's failure. It's ups. It's downs. So this is the group. The last couple seasons that really that was able to reinvent themselves and put it back where it belongs.
Jay's taught me a lot. Honestly, a lot of it is don't be so hard on yourself. I went through all of club being super hard on myself. And coming in here my first year, of course, I wanted to do great, but I didn't know anything about college gymnastics. So if I have a bad meet or anything like that, of course, I'd be a little down on myself, and he made sure that I knew that I was amazing and that I deserved to be here, and that going into real life, I can't be this hard on myself. Jay does a really good job of keeping all of us motivated, and he also make sure that we keep healthy competition in the gym. Where a lot of us are really competitive, so he'll push lineups, and he'll tell people that are 8, 9, and 10 to be okay, push people in lineup. And when you're in lineup, Jay works really hard to motivate everyone and go for the little details, sticking our landings, pointing our feet, and he makes sure that we aren't really slacking off at all. That's really good. Honestly, if my team made it to NCAAs, that would be perfect. But honestly, as long as we're going out there and we're doing our best and we're not holding anything back, I think that this will be a great year. That's just what I want. I want us all be having fun, being together like a family.
When the Santos arrived in Tempe in 2017, the first thing they had to do is steady that floundering program. Immediately they raised the bars and the beam, and they beat Arizona that first year, and that was important for them. 2018, their best finish in 6 years. They beat 11 different teams. They won at Stanford, Cal, and Arizona, so that's 3 in conference, and Jay Santos was named Pac-12 Coach of the Year. They went from number 41 in the country the year before to number 23, and I don't want to take anything away from Jessica Santos because she's had a big hand in it, and so has Stephen Buckner. UCLA is going to move to the balance beam here in the third rotation. UCLA is number 2 in the country on the balance beam. They have 4 athletes in the top 15, and this, remember, the toughest event, 30 straight meets, 30. UCLA has hit at least 49 on this event. Maddie Kochen has just 1 beam routine this year, a 9.85, but she's gone 9.95 multiple occasions in her career on this event.
Maddie Kochen is coming off bars hot from that 10.0, so I think it's probably the perfect person to lead off beam. It's always a really crucial role in the beam lineup. Who goes first? And what do you want in a leadoff position? And that's someone that is solid, that can handle the pressure. And as we saw from bars, Maddie Kochen can do just that.
Would you want a world champion and an Olympian and now an NCAA champion?
I mean, I guess it checks a couple boxes.
All of them.
She's done such a good job working on that performance factor, even from last year. Back handspring layout series. front aerial split jump, working on connecting that transition a little bit faster. Good arm positions on her switch lead combination. Going to be finishing with a round off double full. Spotting the beam to find a landing again. She's really had some sticky feet here today, Jim.
It is impossible to be around Maddie Kochen and not become a fan. And not just because of her gymnastics. She's just an affable young woman. She's bright. She's very pleasant. She walked in here as an Olympic gold medalist and just kind of took her place in the lineup. No fanfare. Arizona State to the floor. Their best event, ranked 17th. Coming in, this was the only rotation in which they had hit 49. They've done that already today on the bars. Caitlyn Lentz leading off, her only event of the day. Always around about a 9-8 on this event. Oh, comes up short on the pass, and I think she's injured.
You could tell right from this set, she threw her head back. Something was wrong on the punch. She did not get that normal set you typically need for a double salto, double flipping pass. Oh, it's never something that you want to see, especially watching your teammate go through that. She's a senior too.
Yeah, and she was injured in the last half of last season. Ended up missing a half dozen events, including the Pac-12s, and UCLA students rise as one in support. And Caitlyn Lentz is going to have to be carried off. Caitlyn Lentz is another one of those gymnasts that does so much more than just perform on the floor. Earlier this year, as part of her major in college, she built a playground as a class project out in Mesa, Arizona for kids.
And that's what it's really about, them as people. It's a really cool, fun fact of how talented these gymnasts are on the competition floor. But Jay was quick on our phone call with them to tell us how academically minded these athletes are on his team. He's just so proud of them, not only in the gym and the work they've done, but in the classroom and all of their charitable activities as well. One
of the things that I'm fortunate to have working at the Pac-12 network is a view of all these different sports. I work almost all of them, and I can tell you that gymnasts every year on every campus have the best team GPA. They just do. Almost always around 3.8, 3.9, a lot of 4.0s. Arizona State has several in the Barrett Honors College. How are you as a student, Sam?
Well, I'm biased, but I think they're pretty good students as well.
That's right. Work ethic, discipline, time management, it all comes into play. So now, Brielle Wynn has to leave that image of Caitlyn Lentz being carried off behind her and get up and find herself in the moment on beam.
I think it's the perfect athlete to be up next. She has such a calming beam routine. Even if there was a slight wobble like she just did, she's gonna pick back up, take a deep breath, and try it again. She was actually the leadoff a lot last year. And you can just tell on her face, she doesn't look nervous. And even more important than making herself feel calm on the beam, she's making her teammates on the sideline feel calm as well.
Sam, your comment about Brielle being the perfect athlete to have up right now, it reminded me of what she did at NCAAs last year. She came up in the 3rd spot after UCLA had a fall in the 2 spot. Remember, that was the event. They were closing, trying to beat Oklahoma for the title. And Wynn was clutch. She came through with a 9.875 in St. Louis to save the rotation and set up the Bruins for that amazing, epic comeback to win the title.
Just from that experience, you know how mentally tough she is. She's been in that position before, and it might not be her last. It's a long season ahead.
You know my favorite part about Brielle Wynn? Foothill High School down in Orange County, my alma mater. Go Knights! No wonder
Don't
she's
be
clutch.
biased now, Jim.
For your high school, I think you can. Can't you? Corinne Belkoff for Arizona State. We've been watching Corinne her entire career in Tempe. This will be her only event today.
And this is her first time competing floor this season. They probably put her second to have a good, solid floor routine first. So there's a little bit more pressure now that all 5 scores count.
Yeah, she just had, what, 1 vault the entire year. That was the extent of her performances.
Combination pass. Oh, excuse me, front handspring double full.
Early in her career, Corinne Belkoff was asked to do an awful lot for Arizona State, just filling spots in the rotation, but this was one of her strengths. 9.875, 3 different times a couple of years ago as a sophomore.
Time to breathe before this last pass. You see Jay step into that corner, maybe give her some last words of wisdom. Oh, finishes both feet out of bounds. That will be a significant deduction. But the good takeaway from this routine is that they know she can hit. It was her first time competing this season, and she will likely be a contender for that spot throughout the rest of the season. Front handspring double full, E-pass for her second tumbling pass. Handles that beautifully.
You remember a couple of days ago when we talked to the Santos, including Jessica Santos, about this team and competing against UCLA and the big crowd, national TV, and she talked about blocking out those distractions.
Yeah, she said that each meet they have a theme. Their theme for the season is #next-level, but the theme for this meet is do your job to stay in their Sun Devil bubble.
Talked about the consistency and said now it is time to perform. Brielle Wynn went 9.825. There's Anna Glenn. Saw Glenn get a 9.85 in the last rotation on bars.
Handspring layout, step out.
I believe this is her first beam of the year and only her 3rd career.
And she is stunning to watch. Front handspring moving through these positions, those poses, showing off her flexibility.
And I watched as she broke into a smile when she held that pose. Standing right in front of us, Miss Val reflected that smile at the same time.
Usually that smile means I've gotten through the hard skills and I know I got the rest of this. Gearing up for her back handspring layout dismount. Was able to save that a little bit.
Yeah, a little shaky back foot.
She gave Ms. Val the, I made it look.
Beam can be a beauty or a beast, can't it?
It's a good way of describing it. Onto Shakat to a ring jump. You can see her feet land both off the side, but she's able to pull it back on beautifully with no wobbles. Here's that back handspring layout. She has a double bump with her right foot, but goes for the layout full anyway and finds the landing.
Anna Glenn has put up big scores before on beam. Last year against San Jose State, had a 9.9. Back to the floor for the Gym Devils and Coombe. Last year, Coombe went on a nice run on the floor. 8 straight meets. She was 9.875 or better. Hasn't reached that level yet this year.
Whipped double back. Does a good job pulling her chest up at the landing. Their volunteer assistant coach, Christina Basquette, did majority of the choreography, but actually Jess Santos choreographed Anne's routine. 2.5, 1 step out of bounds. Again, that's 1/10 of a deduction.
Kochen in the all-around today at a 9.8 on bars and a 9.775 lead-off on vault.
When we had a chance to speak to Jess Santos a couple of days ago, she told us that they're working on the performance quality. She says, we feel solid about how they're going to perform. They're going to hit their routines, but now it's about the details and enjoying it and doing the performance quality that we know they can do. Little shy on that last pass, combination pass. Here's the first pass. She's going to do a whip, back handspring with no hands, sets to a good clean double back, and look how quickly she gets to that lunge position. That's what you want to see, and that's going to be no deductions for that pass.
9.85 for Anna Glenn. UCLA has won the balance beam in their last 12 meets. In fact, last year on the balance beam against all opponents, UCLA on the balance beam was 37-1-1. And remember, they had Oklahoma and Utah on their schedule last year.
Nia is such an impressive athlete. What I want to see from her is the consistency. She's had trouble on this front aerial, back layout, step out connection. But today it looks like it's no problem for her. You're also going to see she spells her name in her beam routine.
Yeah, she just did it. Balance check, hanging on.
Didn't quite get her shoulders square to the beam, which is what you're going to want to see on a turning leap.
Nia Dennis, a finalist for Freshman of the Year last year, went to Cairo. Leonard Baker.
Round off double full, hop back on the landing. This is where the problem came. On her switch half, see her left shoulder didn't quite get open enough to center the beam where she was right over the top. It was forced her to wobble just a little bit, but she was able to pull it back on.
Been an up and down day. Remember, she had the 9.95 on vault in the anchor spot. Came back on bars with trouble, 9.275. She still has four. And Kochen, only a 9.575. So Arizona State now has to shore things up. They started out with a great number. We're on pace for a high 196, but they're fading a bit. Caitlyn Safranski. Katelyn had a 9.775 on bars and a 9.75 on vault.
Opens with a double pike, but coaches told us they are excited for her to put in a full in to upgrade that first pass.
Both of her scores this year on floor have been 9.8 and higher, 9.85 or best.
It'll be a little bit of adduction, taking a step forward instead of lunging backwards. Again, talking about the choreography from volunteer assistant coach Christina Basquette. Unfortunately, she couldn't be at the meet today. She's also a stunt double in her real life job. She was a standout gymnast from the University of Utah.
National champion on bars in 06.
Knowing that all rest of their 5 floor routines, their scores count, it's really important for them to put it to their feet, and I like how they're fighting for every single landing. They are smiling, they're working the crowd, and they're doing exactly what Jess Santos has asked of them.
Safranski just finished her program today. She won't be in the final rotation on beam. Nia Dennis, 9.75. Here's Nora Flatley. We just saw her with a 9.975, obviously career best on the uneven bars, and now trying to back it up on beam. She is ranked number 15 in the country and says this is her favorite event. I believe you when you say floor or vault is your favorite event. When you say beam's your favorite event, I always wonder if you're just whistling in the graveyard.
Well, she's always been such a performer on this event, but the key for her is the series right there. Again, to finish without a wobble and to focus on that form.
She's gone 9.875 in both beam routines this year.
It's unique watching her on beam because she dances into her skills and she dances right out of her skills, which you don't see often. Switch ring. That is really difficult, Jim. I know she makes it look easy, but I just want you to know how difficult that combination is.
Well, sometimes what look like the simplest maneuvers on the beam, like the full turn and the leap, cause the most trouble.
Just a small hop on the landing, and we know that she can do better. Front aerial, good connection. Her arms keep moving, but the problem is her arms stay down on that layout. They don't continue to rise. Here's the back handspring layout dismount. Good form, good chest position. Just a little bit over her feet, had to take a hop.
A long time ago now, 2012, she was the Junior Olympic national champion on the balance beam. Safranski, 9.825, so that means 3 weeks in a row now she's got at least 9.8 or better on the floor. Jessica Ginn, we saw her with their high mark on the vault. She had a 9.8. Was really good on this event last year, 8 scores of 9.8 or better, and started out this year with a 9.8.
Front tuck into a double back, showing off that landing. Front layout half for her combination pass. As we mentioned, the goal for them is to continue to build after each meet, but they really want to crack into the top teams and build that momentum. This is an important meet to do so, and Jess is an important athlete to be able to help the team to achieve those goals. Little Britney Spears for you. Double pike. Wasn't super solid on the landing. It's probably why you see that 4-inch mat. It's not a deduction to have the mat there. But it's a long season. You got to try and stay healthy, especially with some of the older gymnasts.
9.85 for Flatley, so the low score for UCLA is Dennis's 9.75, and they close with Kyla Ross, former champion from 2 years ago, national champion and Pac-12 champion on this event. Last year, finished second at the NCAA finals. She's ranked 15th in the country right now. Went 9.9 last week.
Starting off with her back handspring layout series. Easily finds the landing. What I want you to see, what stands out about her is her arm positions on each skill. They go right out, they go down, and they don't move other than that. Her skills look more simple than other gymnasts because of those arm positions. Again, that performance quality we talk about that comes with being a UCLA Bruin took her a little bit to find that on beam, but this year she is having no trouble. Slow connection, the front aerial beat jump. Oh, fighting for that stick, had to take one hop, one step back. Wasn't a perfect beam routine, but it's going to be a good score. Here's that side aerial, back layout step out. She's a little crooked, so she was fighting to bring it back center on beam and keeping her weight over the ball of her feet.
Kyla Ross had a 9.7, which they dropped on vault. 9.95 on uneven bars, and she will be back in the floor. She tries to put up another 39 plus in the all-around. Jessica, 9.8. So Arizona State has steadied things a bit, and now they hand it to Cairo Leonard Baker, the freshman of the year from 2018.
And this is a fun routine. Christina Basquet choreographed this, and Jess Santos is so excited for all the arenas to get to watch this.
Cairo was 4th at Pac-12s on floor last year.
She's also one of those athletes that they're looking to upgrade mid-season. She's working on a double layout for that first pass. To a front layout full. It's a really difficult combination pass.
Remember where you are, Southern California, they love a good performance. Entertain us as well. Crowd reacting.
Finishes with a double pike and almost too much power, but we talk about good mistakes early on, and over-rotating your passes are certainly a good mistake. Jay Santos said their coaching philosophy on floor is to make sure they're ready early with their routines and with their endurance.
Cairo Leonard Baker had just enough room in the corner, stays in bounds, should be a good score, and the Gym Devils celebrate. They're still in it. Next up, UCLA goes to the floor with Caitlyn Ohashi.
Los Angeles.
Last week, Caitlyn Ohashi spent 90 seconds on the floor in Anaheim, and everybody in the world got to see it. Over 100 million hits. She's number 2 in the country on balance beam, was not in the rotation, so she's been standing around for an hour and a half, and Caitlyn Ohashi does not like to stand around. But she's coming up on floor at the end of the 4th rotation. She's going to close things out.
I mean,
and
Jim,
what a moment that's going to be.
Can you really say that she's been standing around when she dances the majority of the time?
Constantly. She's always moving. Before we look ahead to that floor, we look back at the beam, and the leadoff was Maddie Kochen with a season-high 9.875.
Madison Kochen starting off with her back handspring layout series. Little bobble there, didn't quite put her back foot, back heel down on the beam, but picks it up for a strong finish. Good clean, round off double full to a nice landing. They're looking for that leadoff spot, so who knows, maybe she'll solidify that.
For Arizona State, over on the floor, of course, they suffered that injury to Caitlyn Lentz, and so the last 5 had to hit for them. They actually salvaged a 48-7. That's a really good score, considering they had to go 5 for 5, and Cairo Leonard Baker with a 9.825. Both she and Katelyn Safranski, the top mark for the Gym Devils.
They are so well conditioned at this Arizona State University, focusing on making sure they're prepared and ready for season. And now they're working on that performance quality, and Cairo seems to have nailed that as well. There's really nothing she can't do.
And they've asked her to lead this year, which is kind of a strange spot for a sophomore, but because of her stature, her experience, and her personality, they want her to be vocal. They want her to rally the team around her.
Well, you got to think, she loves that pressure. She loves competition, as we saw in the video. So competing with this many fans, even though they're not the home fans, that's got to give you some excitement, some nervous energy, some adrenaline.
148-125 for UCLA, a commanding lead as the Bruins try to improve to 5-0. They will finish on the floor. Caitlyn Ohashi, when we come back to Westwood. It took the country by storm. Caitlyn Ohashi, the internet sensation after this floor at the Collegiate Challenge in Anaheim last week. Seems simple enough. We've seen her do it before. Now this is a new floor. Remember last year, she almost broke the internet with over 90 million hits. Now she's gone over 100 million with this version. And remember when we were here for the Meet the Bruins, she kept saying, I don't know how I'm going to top last year, I don't have a routine. And then 2 weeks later, she causes a tweet storm. Jamel Hill, note to self, go to UCLA Gymnastics meet. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, UCLA performance, you just got to go and see it. Kamala Harris, who just declared her run for the presidency, fantastic, congratulations. And the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Well, we talked to Caitlyn Ohashi about the pressure of the lofty expectations and what she expects from herself.
Being an athlete, you always know things happen unexpectedly, and you have to take that into consideration. But I think going in there and just, you know, I always have fun when I compete, and so just keeping that in my head and not caring what other people think is something so big. And I'm pretty nonchalant about things, so I'm just going to approach everything the same every week.
I think people watched the pure joy on her face and said, you know, there's so much going on in the world. It's just so nice to see somebody in their element, in their moment, enjoy it. And it reminds me of the best part of the Caitlyn Ohashi story. As an elite gymnast, she was often injured. She got burned out, and she had lost the fun in her gymnastics. She came to UCLA to rediscover the joy in gymnastics, and Valerie Condos-Field helped her find that center again, which she's done for so many gymnasts, both broken and gold medalists coming in, finding that center, making them part of a team. Caitlyn Ohashi is the perfect picture of what Valerie Condos-Field wants to create here at UCLA and has.
Absolutely, and she is so artistic. For being this athletic phenomenon that she is, the artistic quality to her personality, both showing and sending messages through her poetry, through her writing, through her dance expression on floor. I asked her before the meet started, what do you want people to feel or to see or to know when they watch your floor routine? And she said, I just want them to feel joy and happiness watching me. And I told her that I think she accomplished that, but she also mentioned that it is a competition and she doesn't want it to take away or to distract from the team's main goal, which is to win another national championship this year. They were able to do it last year while they had fun. Miss Vala is crying. It's not even her last competition here. I think those are happy tears if I know her well enough.
You know, it's almost a shame that we couldn't come on the air about an hour earlier and let you just watch Valerie Condos-Field walk around this arena, because she plays to the crowd, and it's, you know, it's not hot dogging and it's not look at me. She tries to get the students in and say, this is your team, these are your classmates, and I want you to cheer them on. They put so much work in. You know, she's all about presentation, and she wants the crowd to be a part of it. And I will tell you, 5 minutes before we went on the air, I'm walking to our broadcast position, and everyone was in their seats. You know, this is LA, this is a late arriving crowd. We see people wander in during the first rotation. They were in their seats and they were waiting because they know there's a chance they could see something they have never seen before. Final rotation finds Arizona State on the balance beam. Gym Devils number 23 in the country. They are 3-1 on the beam to start the season. Ancum once again in the leadoff spot for the Gym Devils, and the Santos talked to us about how important that leadoff spot is. They said, we want somebody big, somebody talented, who can put up a lofty number that we can chase throughout the rotation.
Good, solid combination series to start off the routine. Jez Santos said she was really sad, actually, talking to Ancum about which position she wanted to fill for this team on beam. Anne said she was comfortable in that leadoff position. She did it at the Olympics. She did it for Team France. And, you know, scores typically rise, Jim. So going first may not elevate your score, in which they're hoping it would do for Anne Coombs, but they want her for that leadoff position because she's comfortable and she's solid. Yeah,
it's a bit of a sacrifice for the gymnast because the judges are going to leave themselves room to grow. They don't want to give a big number in the leadoff spot, and coaches have different strategies about this.
But they said since she's been in that leadoff spot, she has been way more calm, and it's made the team calm as well, and that's what you want for the leadoff position to do.
Yeah, she's their most consistent performer. And speaking of leadoffs, how about Gracie Kramer? People come for the gymnastics, they stay for the floor.
The student section is already on their feet. They know the choreography for their routines, by the way.
Kramer is number 3 in the country on the floor. Both of her floor scores so far this year, 9.925 and above.
Difficult combination pass to start out the routine for handspring double fold to a front pike.
Kramer's only event. Normally she's in the vault rotation as well. UCLA has 19 gymnasts who compete. You got to fight for your spot.
Solid second pass. I see no deductions here so far, and I think it's important to point out she dances so hard, but the harder you dance, the more endurance you have to finish this floor routine. Looking at herself in the mirror. Love it. Strong Rudy.
Gracie Kramer.
Floor coach Jordan Weber has told me her biggest obstacle, it's a good thing, but her biggest obstacle on floor is figuring out who to put in because they have so much depth and everybody wants to compete floor on this team.
Gracie went 9.925 at the Collegiate Challenge last week. In week 1, a 9.95, a three-way tie for first with her teammates against Nebraska opening week. And Coombe 9.725 for Arizona State. Of course, the gym doubles numbers are going to look more modest by comparison, but if you compare Arizona State to Arizona State from last year and the year before, and of course back in 2016, they have grown immeasurably.
It's definitely a program that's on the rise, and I think when we talk to Jay and Jess Santos, they are so confident in their philosophy and where they want to go, their vision for this team, and you can tell the team has bought in. They are on the rise. They work so hard every single day in practice to accomplish the goals that the coaches have set out for them.
Jay and Jess have done this before at Eastern Michigan. Had them number 17, the highest ever rating, 8 school records. Went to the NCAAs, got Coach of the Year. And Ray Anderson, the athletic director at Arizona State, went out and found them and brought them to Tempe. And he was right. Each year, Arizona State has gotten better.
Finishing with the gainer full off the side. Something that I'm really impressed with this Arizona State team today is their landings. We've seen a lot more sticks from them than we did last year, and even if they aren't sticks, they are very small deductions of steps. Here's that gainer full off the side, pikes her hips slightly and a little close to the beam. Gonna want some more height there, but again, good landing.
Noah,
9.925 opener for Gracie Kramer. Nia Dennis, ranked in the top 25 on this event. 9.875 against Nebraska. Did not compete on the floor last week in Anaheim.
Opening her tumbling pass with a pike full in. She's got a lot of skills that she can do. Last year she tried double Arabians, but the pike full in seems to be more consistent. Gonna spell Nia again, like her beam routine right here. It's coming up.
Dot the I.
Miss Val in the background, choreographing the student section.
And she was doing that in warm-ups. And so was the crowd. They were right with her.
If they don't do it, you know they're going to get Miss Val as.
Wow. The amplitude was huge.
Solid last pass.
Beautiful stuff by Nia Dennis.
Again, this goes to show you, big shout out to volunteer assistant coach Jordan Weber. Her philosophy is similar to Jay and Jess in the sense that she wants to get them in good floor routine shape early in the season. She did that last year, and she's repeating that again this year. Pike full in to start out, chest slightly low, and in case you forgot, her name's Nia, and she's going to spell it out for you.
UCLA is so deep and so good on the floor. All 6 of the performers are in the top 25 in the country. All 6.
That's a good stat right there.
UCLA on the floor has hit 49 in 24 straight meets. They've already gone 49-7 this year on the floor. Back to the beam. And Cairo Leonard Baker is normally in the anchor spot, but here in the 3-hole.
Straddle jump, back layout, step out. Coaches said that she is so self-motivated, and they're encouraging her to share that mentality with the rest of the routine, with the rest of the team.
She really hit her stride on beam in the middle of last year. She went 9-8 or better, 6 straight meets, but not in the last 3, and finished way down the ladder at Pac-12s. She opened up this year. She had trouble last week in Texas, and the week before, her season high is just a 9.725. Now, new routine, new season, and it's still early in the year.
You can tell she's got her game face on. She is such an athlete. Like you mentioned, Jim, she is improving even this year, but her confidence level and consistency seems to stay the same, and that's what this ASU team needs. That's going to be a big score.
9.875 for Nia Dennis. Kyla Ross steps to the floor. Kyla Ross is also ranked number 3, along with Gracie Kramer. 9.95 against Nebraska, 9.925 at the Collegiate Challenge.
Round off whip, huge double back. You know, each routine has a theme. Hers is the 10-0 thief, and I think she's done a good job week 1 and 2 living up to that title.
Just stays in.
This is the best shape she's been in since she got to college. You can tell she enjoys to do floor. There is no look of fear, no panic.
Look at Miss Val. Like she's conducting a band. She's cueing the crowd.
Well, of course she is, Jim. There was a time when Kyla came to college and was scared mentally of her last pass. She couldn't get it together. But Jordan Weber has helped her get over that fear and that mentality that she can't do it. And she continues to prove to herself that she can. This is her first pass, round off whip. Good set for that double back. So much air. And the last pass, spots the landing and goes for the stick.
And there is Jordan Weber, Olympic gold medalist and a teammate of Kyla Ross, and now coaching her. And you know, that's a change in dynamic in a relationship, and it really hangs on the athlete to accept it.
And they were just looking at her 9.95, and she was
Like it's
really
nothing.
surprised. Yeah, she loved it.
Back-to-back 9.85s by Arizona State. Morgan Wilson, by the way, that's a career high, the 9.85 ties Cairo Leonard Baker at 9.85 as well. Ashley Safranski next up. For Ashley, this is her only event today. Was really consistent on this event last year. Through half the season was 9.8 or better every time up. Toughest event. Finished 9th on the beam at Pac-12.
She's really solid when she lands. Switch leap, split jump. She's continuing to move through this routine.
This is only her second routine of the season. Was also on beam at Texas Women's last week, 9.775. I think she's expecting better.
Full twisting, back handspring swing down. You don't see that often in college gymnastics. It's a beautiful skill.
Yeah, and sometimes can look not only dangerous, but a bit awkward. She was clean.
Gainer layout full.
What was wrong with that?
I didn't see much deduction there. Again, that's going to be another big number for ASU.
Very nice work by Ashley Safranski. And a 9.95 for Ross.
And this is when you see the scores start to build.
Paulina Trotz, ranked 24th in the nation. 9.925 last week. UCLA floor rotation comes at you in waves.
Starting off with a tough full in, a little short. This Florentine is a crowd favorite. She is just so Euro. She had trouble on that combination pass week 1. But she's an athlete. Once she puts it all together, she can score big.
Trotz, two-time German national champion on the vault and an Olympic alternate for Germany in 2016.
Really big double back.
Yeah, she seems like she's getting much higher on her tumbling passes than last year.
Again, it comes down to that endurance factor. You know that it wasn't an endurance problem for that first pass. She played it a little safe. She didn't want to over-rotate or go in bounds, and that led to the little mistake that she had.
Yeah, she was top 25 in the country on floor last year as well. So she's just carrying on. 9.875 for Ashley Safranski. Not quite a career high. She had gone 9.9 before. Justine Callis. Callis had 9.775 in the opening rotation on bars. First two meets, she only competed on beam, went 9.8, both times up.
Beautiful back handspring layout series. She was actually crooked in the middle of that, but was able to pull it back on. That's the mark of a true beam worker. ASU is gaining some momentum on beam. And they add a lot of fun difficulty. Something that always impresses me with the Pac-12 conference they add unique skills. Even though it doesn't necessarily add to the point value of their routine, it does make them stand out. Great routine from Justine Collis. Coaches say she's been exceptionally solid in practice, but right here, look, her feet are off to the left side of the beam, but she's able to pull it back on to finish centered with no deductions.
All 8 teams in the Pac-12 in women's gymnastics ranked in the top 30, led by UCLA at 2, Utah's 4, California is 12, Arizona State 19. Trouts goes 9.825. Margzetta Frazier already today a 9.925 on bars.
And she is a performer. I want you to watch her facial expressions during this routine. Good tuck pull in. Her legs were glued on the twist.
She's currently ranked number 6 in the country and is coming off a career-high 9.925 at the Collegiate Challenge in her floor exercise debut. Good way to start. Don't ask for attention, demand it.
She does such a good job finding those landings. She finishes with a death drop. That is, the crowd is on their feet. That's how much they love the death drop and Margzetta's floor routine.
Well, she's about to finish off a remarkable day, the 9.925 on bars, and now expecting a huge score. And here's the death drop to finish it off.
I feel like we should say, don't try this at home.
I can't even watch it. How about Justine Collis with a 9.925 on beam for Arizona State? Well, that is a career high for Justine. Excellent work. And now Arizona State finishes off its day. Heather Urduch, a senior from Allen, Texas, her only event of the day.
She did a good job keeping those arms moving in the transition front aerial beat jump. Nice back handspring layout. Knee bend in both the back handspring and the layout. And those are the details that Jess Santos is talking about. They are working on in the gym. Hitch kick, front toss. I'd like to see the rhythm be a little bit sped up. Side aerial, back layout full, and a good hit routine. Like we mentioned, they are working on gaining momentum.
Like Ali stepping into the ring, all Caitlyn Ohashi did is show up, and the crowd rose. Like a million on the internet, like thousands in arenas all over the country, and like celebrities who have been glomming onto her, you're about to see something special.
step out of bounds. It's not going to be perfect this weekend.
Now she can just have fun.
She doesn't look too worried to me.
She's got Tina in here. She's got Michael in here. She knows how to play to a crowd.
Before she even finished her last tumbling pass. And again, even though she went out of bounds, the crowd is on their feet. They're just so excited to be able to see this routine in person. Double layout, and she went back to the double layout with her feet together, which is my guess why she had so much power and took one step out of bounds.
And she's still going to celebrate with her people. She is the #1 rated floor exercise performer in the United States. Now, probably because of the step out, the score is going to be down a little bit. She might lose that top medal, but she is also the most popular. And she's a delight. Well, for Caitlyn Ohashi, who just put up a 10 and got 1 million internet hits, it's a 9.95. Well, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all right when you're used to getting 10s every weekend. I don't know.
This Pac-12 Women's Gymnastics meet is brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. That is a beautiful Santa Monica Pier, about 11 miles away. Inside Pauley Pavilion, UCLA #2 in the country, defending national champions, 197.775. So for UCLA, that is their high score of the year, and all 3 times now gone deep into the 197s. Arizona State, 196 for the first time this year. 196.125, and check out what Arizona State just did on the beam, a 49.325, obviously a season high for them. It's one of the best in school history, and they actually beat UCLA on the beam. Last year, UCLA was 37-1-1 on the balance beam. But of course, nobody beats UCLA on bars. Let's look at our State Farm Here to Help Life Go Right highlight. Maddie Kochen. She's done this before, but not for a couple of years. Remember, a world champion and an Olympic silver medalist on this event. All she had to do was finish it. And that is perfection. Maddie Kochen with a 10. She's down on the floor with a couple of friends and our Sam Pescic.
Thanks, Jim. Maddie Kochen, congratulations on your first 10 of the season. Does it push you to get even better when your teammates get 10s as well?
Yes, it's so exciting, and especially since we had a little mistake earlier in the rotation, I just wanted to do it for my team.
Do you change your mindset knowing there has been a mistake?
I don't think so. I think it just motivates me even more, and there's just more fire inside of me to do even better.
You've had so much practice as an elite gymnast, as an Olympian, competing under pressure. How do you practice that?
I think you just have to push everything to the side and just compartmentalize and just really think about all the routines that I've done in training and competitions before, and that's just prepared me so much more for this.
Bars had an outstanding team score. What do you think about it?
I'm really excited because I think bars, the past couple meets, we've struggled a little bit, but I think this is good to be where we're at for right now, the 3rd meet, and just going into postseason and later on.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks.
All right, I am with Caitlyn Ohashi next, and of course, everybody knows her. She is the viral sensation. How'd you think you did today?
Well, today I just did floor, and you know, I just had fun out there. I watered down the routine a little bit since last week, but it was amazing.
You told me that you made some changes in this floor routine. What was it?
So I didn't do the split today, and then I got rid of one of my flips in my middle pass due to some technical difficulties.
It's hard to do an interview. She just loves gymnastics and me so much.
What are you haven't listened to our podcast is great.
What are you looking forward to the rest of the season? You went viral, you have a 10, you might do another floor routine. Can anything top what you've already done so far?
I think there's always room for improvement. We always try for that 1% better each time, so you can never max out.
Thanks, Kate. All right, Miss Val, you are a legend, and it's your last part of the season?
First part of the season. First part of my season.
What is special about being in Pauley Pavilion since it's the last season you'll be the head coach?
Absolutely everything, and I can say, everybody knows I've been here a long, long time, almost 4 decades, and every time I walk into this arena, I feel it. I feel all of the history and the lore, and it is hallowed ground, absolutely. So, and that is never dimmed.
You talk about that Pauley Pavilion magic, and you do such a good job getting the fans involved and keeping them engaged. How important is that you choreograph movements for them for the floor team?
Well, I absolutely believe that all sport is entertainment, and when fans have more fun, then they want to come back. And we live in Los Angeles. It's really hard to fight for that entertainment dollar, and so if they can feel like we're bringing them into the performance with us, then they have more fun, and that's why we've got the crowds that we have.
Thank you, Miss Val. Jim?
From Miss Val, everybody is welcome under the tent. Over 10,000 at Pauley today. A lot of them came to see Caitlyn Ohashi, but now their eyes have been opened because they know just how talented this UCLA team is. Number 2 in the country, and the defending national champions. UCLA continues to roll on. They're 5-0. How about Arizona State today? Season highs on 3 different events. Gym Devils should move up in the national rankings. Next up for Arizona State, they're home against number 2 Utah. You can see that Saturday on the Pac-12 Network. UCLA next at Stanford. That's next Sunday, also on the Pac-12 Network. And later tonight, it's Cal and Stanford on the Pac-12 Network. That's coming up later tonight. For Alan Brumm, Mark Wolfson, Barbara Donahue, and Sam Pescick, I'm Jim Watson.